providing transformation to people or to our constituents. With my own personal spiritual growth and political development, has become, and becoming more, a point that we have to change ourselves in order to assist other people, whether we come out of prison or coming out of any other institution, to continue to behave like these people have problems, children, or people coming out of prison, and we don't, perpetuates the contradiction. So, as a result of our own personal training, the evolution of our curriculum, the new board that was formed in 2003, we just recently adopted the philosophy, but it took from 2003 for people to really understand when we talk about personal issues in our agenda, when we talk about the business, when we have our discussion around political stuff, we have to internalize that political line. As a nonprofit organization, changing ourselves to change the world. And so with the last minute, we have been the board of directors and other people within the organization is positioned within the community to assist other organizations, not only to work through administrative stuff, but create the kind of curriculum that includes their own personal growth within that work. I think I'm around that. Yeah, Steve?
Just right now, just if you have questions, you've heard got a lot of information. If you have questions now, we'll go for the next 15 minutes or so with questions with Mr. Goldsby.
Yeah, I'll be his eyes for now.
Okay. On the question of having the two advocates for the person while they're incarcerated, how long was that relationship? And how often? Did you go once a week, twice a week, or as needed, or what was the case?
It went in 3 months before the person.
3 months before.
3 months before the person was released.
Okay.
And they would set up their own scheduling and their own work plan or map on how they was going to work with this individual.
Okay.
And the individuals in the residence were reported. And our expectation was for the support team to be with that person for that period.
Okay.
Question?
Was a lot of programs catered more towards adult offenders, the younger? Was there an age group? I know in Pennsylvania or that area, you've got Newcastle, Cornwall Heights, all those places. And some of them have a much younger population, say up to age 25, 18 to 25. So the programs itself,
are you talking about the stage when we dealt with the men that was inside?
Yes.
The earlier part of it?
Yes.
The age for the men that was coming out of the state prison?
Yes.
Oh, they ranged.
Yeah.
They was older than this guy, some of them.
Wow.
But,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
They ranged because we were talking about second-time violent offenders.
Okay.
And so you had people who had done some quality time, and you had people that have been repeat offenders. So that I would say the average age, and Steve asked this question, right?
Yes.
I would say the average age was about 40, 45. And I think also to our benefit, people who we have reached out to have retired from crime, which was to our benefit.
Other questions? Yes.
As an African American mom and grandmother, and also advocate in my community, I would like to know what your advice would be to some of the mothers that want to stand up for our African American males who have been incarcerated numerous times versus the one time that they may have been in prison. How do we become more involved with our Black males who are being incarcerated, period, how do we become involved? Because it's getting a little hard and it's getting a little frustrating when most of the programs that are geared towards our African American males are being taught by African American males in an organizational sense. If you're a mother and you're caring and you're in that community for all your life and you know these boys, how can that mother do this regardless of grants, regardless of 501c3s, regardless of any organization? Would you suggest that we jump into this, move into it, or should we just become involved, or should we just drop out?
Oh, no. He ain't got the answer to that. I'll let him answer this. I mean, he's dropping out.
I want to answer that three ways. One is we need to understand the politics of nonprofit organizations. They are not designed to assist in some of the stuff that you just raised. Nonprofits supposed to empower the people to take charge, not to co-opt the movements. And that's what happens. Nonprofit organizations are doing what people are supposed to do. And there's a contradiction because as a nonprofit, you cannot be political. So you as mothers, we as fathers, we as people, we as working class people have to understand that the people movement is the people movement. It's not a nonprofit issue. And so we tend to put all of our political aspiration within nonprofit groups, and we cannot move. Number two is if you are involved in a group and or in a nonprofit group, I think it's important to begin to understand. We have a group called Coffee, and what it does, it teaches us how to identify dynamics within the family. And it teaches us how to, just by putting the mother, the father, or let's say it's just you and your 3 children, you got a boy and 2 daughters, just by how you arrange those children in that setting gives us some sense of the dynamics. And by us moving that daughter closer to you, your reaction gives us some sense about the dynamics. So I would definitely echo what Hakeem is saying. That's not an option. Just to move out, to drop out, to not do anything perpetuates the system. So we have to struggle to make sure that family issues are included. The model, the paradigm now is to take the individual and deal with the individual. Take the child, deal with the child. Take whatever happens and put it in the court system, and the family, i.e. whether it's a mother as a single parent or a father as a single parent, is isolated, alienated. And our experience is proven to us that that doesn't work. We have to shift the paradigm whereby the family, the community is just as responsible for it. So I'm not sure if I answered your question. I just said things I needed to say.
You answered it.
I would like to add something.
Answered it.
I did.
Yeah.
I would like to add something before I entertain the gentleman's questions. There's a group in Philadelphia called Mothers in Charge. How that group originated was out of the tragedy of the mothers losing their sons to violence. And the majority of the time when they began as a reaction to what their suffering was, their pain of someone killing their son. And there was a lot of reactive actions on their part. It was appearing up at the courts or appearing up at the parole hearings and preventing it. A lot of that, but as they progressed, they began to recognize that this thing was far beyond just somebody killing somebody. That something caused that situation. Something created that environment that motivated that one to take another one's life. That the other people that was the family members of those who did the shooting suffered. Not, it wasn't that it was a whole family of murderers. It was one kid or one guy making a mistake at one time, or one woman or one child. And then that family of the one who was perpetrating crime was suffering too. So they began to understand that, and then their movement, now they're out into the community as a preventive, as opposed to a reactionary to something happening. So